I'm going to be talking to you guys about the 3 federal laws affecting education today. The Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965 was originally passed as part of the Lyndon B. Johnson administration War on Poverty campaign. The original goal of the law, which remains today, was to improve educational equality for students from lower-income families by providing federal funds to school districts serving poor students. Typically, these school districts receive less state and local funding than those serving more affluent children, usually because of local property taxes are typically the primary funding source of schools, and property values are much lower in poorer areas. In return for taxpayer dollars, states and districts must now show that they're working to meet the needs in providing a quality education to all of their students. When education policy folks talk about accountability, this is what. Since its initial passage, ESEA has been reauthorized 7 times, most recently with the Every Child Succeeds Act. Each reauthorization brought changes to the program, but its central goal still remains the same. It's the law's requirements for annual testing, accountability, and school improvement that receive the most attention. Let's look at these. Annual testing requires states to test students in reading and mathematics annually in grades 3 through 8 and once in grades 10 through 12. Accountability. Individual school districts and states must publicly report these test results. They need to report for specific student subgroups, including low-income students, students with disabilities, English language learners, and major racial and ethnic groups. As far as school improvement, if schools fail to make progress against state set goals over a number of years overall and for each subgroup of students, the law requires states to implement escalating interventions in these schools. While we still have a long way to go, especially with closing the achievement gaps, we are making real progress. The next law I'm going to talk about is Title I, which is formerly known as Chapter 1 and part of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965. This is the foundation of the federal commitment to closing the achievement gap between low-income and other students. Nearly 14,000 of the 15,000 school districts in the nation conduct Title I programs. The federal government provides funding to state. Then each state educational agency sends money to its school districts. How much money each school receives is determined by the number of low-income students attending that school. Title I funds are generally used to improve academic achievement in reading and math, but the resources can also be used to help students improve their achievement in all of the core academic subjects. These Title I funds are flexible and can be used to provide professional development for teachers, support hiring additional teachers and classroom aides, improve curriculum, enhance parent involvement, and provide other activities that are tied to raising student achievement. Teachers in Title I schools encounter students facing life struggles many of us cannot even imagine. Teachers face the challenge of getting students to concentrate and work in the classroom. Encouraging these students to focus on school can be difficult, but it's necessary to overcome the challenge in order for students to academically achieve. One student motivation that I can think of is creating a prize box or bag and buying cheap prizes such as puzzles, bouncy balls, sticky hands, candy, or small toys, and reserve it for a special or big event. Students that have these type of special needs often require a little push to grab their attention in academics, in school in general. If you can figure out what gets their juices flowing, you will have a success in the learning environment. The next law I'm going to be talking about is the Every Student Succeeds Act, which was signed by President Obama on December 10, 2015, and represents the good news for our nation's school. This reauthorizes the 50-year-old Elementary and Secondary Education Act, the nation's national education law and long-standing commitment to equal opportunity for all students. ESSA furthers all 3 of the NEA core goals. 1, which is creating an opportunity to help ensure equality and opportunity for all students. 2, in reducing the amount of standardized testing and decoupling test scores in high-stakes decision-making. And 3, ensuring that educators' voices are part of the decision-making at a federal, state, and local level. So what does ESSA mean for a classroom teacher? It will hopefully end the obsession with testing in schools. The provisions of ESSA will provide at the state and local levels the opportunity to create systems which, 1, factors such as resources, working conditions, and teacher voice must be considered. 2, Teacher evaluation will be used to grow and strengthen the profession, not sort or punish. 3. Assessments will be used to help improve schools and inform instruction and not arbitrarily measure them. And 3. Reasonable goals and objectives can be established that align with the needs of the students. If this new framework is applied correctly, ESSA has the potential to give the teachers the latitude to meet the needs of kids rather than simply focusing on tests. Many education advocates have called the Every Student Succeeds Act as a step in the right direction towards updating the No Child Left Behind. Today, high school graduation rates are at all-time highs, dropout rates are at historic lows, and more students are going to college than ever before. These achievements provide a firm foundation for further work to expand educational opportunity and to improve student outcomes under ESSA. In conclusion, the Every Student Succeeds Act will help ensure that all students, regardless of their zip code, will have the support, tools, and time to learn that they need to succeed, and that educators' voices are part of the decision-making process at all levels. Think about it. Students who are high school seniors this year have spent their entire K-12 experience under NCLB. ESSA will fix that previous broken law and give that next generation of students the resources and support they need.